What an amazing, amazing day. It's May 10th, and it's amazing because it is my son's 25th birthday. So happy birthday, Matthew. Even though you may not be watching the show, just wanted to wish my son a very happy birthday because I didn't get a chance to do it publicly. And here's what I'm doing today, right now. Welcome you to the show. This is Marketing Made Easy. My name is Joey Ragona, and I am super excited today, as always, because it's Tuesday night. The sun is shining, as you can see out here. I don't need the lights right now, but maybe it'll get a little bit darker later, but not darker in terms of us talking about the most amazing marketing strategies and heartwarming, heartfelt tactics and methods, not all this crap and scarcity and all that stuff. What a way to start off the show, right? But hey, that's what we're all about. I'm going to bring in my good buddy, Scott Vogel, who is in the house as always on a Tuesday night. And there he is in the green room with our brand new backdrop and all this fancy technology stuff that we're going to try and hopefully get through today. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing real well today, thanks, Joey. It's gorgeous here today. It was in the 70s, and I just went and sat outside and wrote some copy. I'm like, I get to sit out in the sun and write copy. What a good day it was, and actually get paid for it to do something that I would do anyway. Sit outside, write copy, play around with my program, playing with some new programs that I'm getting ready to put out, and just having a good time today. It was like really hot in yoga today. So it's 104 with 40% humidity, but it was really hot today. I don't know how it
Very
could be
cool.
hot in Korea. So yeah, good day. And of course, always I think Monica was. I know she didn't get the promotion up, and I was a little worried that it might not happen and what was I going to do. And then, of course, she came through as always. So props to Monica. Hello, Anne.
Good to see Camilla's here. Facebook friends. I don't know who this is, but hello, friends. If you are in the group and by chance want to give StreamYard the permission to display your name, I think there's a link that you can click on there to help us know who you are and we can give you props. That would be amazing. Sometimes it doesn't work. Technology doesn't work all the time, but just maybe we could do that. And anytime you want to hit that heart button or that like button or anywhere, wherever you're watching, that would be cool. And love the new backdrop. Thank you very much. Maybe we'll get fancier over the over the course of the next this next couple of months. And midnight, and yes, it probably is where Camilla is. So welcome to the show. I'm getting some feedback. Are you hearing that, Scott? Or maybe your
Yes.
speakers are loud.
No, it's gone now. And that hello friends was Angel Hill, by the way.
Ah, very cool. Hello, Angel. So today, tried again to give StreamYard permission. Hope it worked this time. No, it didn't work. Is that Angel? Same one?
Yeah, she's showing up on the Facebook feed, but not in your. And here's
Not in
Dan.
StreamYard.
Dan, and here's Petra.
Very, very well. Good. Well, we know you're here, Angel. Do you really think they can handle all the new tech stuff tonight, Joey? I don't know. I'm even broadcasting in full 1080p so far. So let's keep our fingers crossed and see how that goes. So tonight, I'm going to talk about some stuff, or we're going to talk about some stuff that really lights me up. And it's like simplifying things. And you just talked about, adding more programs and more programs. And all of a sudden, my whole stomach just started to churn all over again. I'm like, holy dude, like, just slow down, bro. Don't get back into that whole, circle and things of just adding. Because there's, me, I like to simplify, just make one thing all the way through to success. And that's what I want to talk about today is how do you shortcut the success and how do you make that happen? So we're going to talk a lot about that today and get your insight on it and hopefully get some questions from the tribe today. Did you read, I know you're familiar with Blue Ocean Strategy. Did you read it?
Oh yeah, that was a read many years ago. I love Blue Ocean. That to me was, I talk about that quite a bit. That I want to exist in a crystal clear, pristine blue ocean. I don't want to hang out in the red ocean that's bloody with people like, well, we hear it all the time. Well, here's what everybody else is doing in the industry. Well, then don't do what everybody else is doing in the industry. Well, everybody's charging this, charge more. Everybody's doing this, do it different. It goes
Yeah.
back to way back when I was playing with Yellow Pages ads. And everybody in the Yellow Pages had their logo up top. I said, put your logo on the bottom. That was Dan Kennedy stuff. But yeah, I love Blue Ocean. I think it's fantastic that every single one of us, especially heart-centered marketers and those that exist in our tribe and believe in what we do, is do it different and don't look at what everybody else is doing. And that's what a Blue Ocean's all about. And simplifying it is really what it's all about, is, and that's the elimination piece in the four
Right.
factors I believe we're going to talk about is, what's everybody else doing forever that they've competed in this and that. It's like, don't get involved in that game, because then who's the fastest to get to zero? Well, I can outprice you, and then who's going to get to zero the fastest, and then everybody goes out of business.
Exactly. Yeah. So let's get into this. I have a couple slides I want to share. We'll talk about the slow boat to success, and we'll also talk about the fast boat to success. So this is one of the slowest boats to success, which is to create a lead magnet. And I'm using the industry standard stuff. I don't use these words. My word is gift, but for the sake of of everybody listening, will who are not in my tribe, will use lead magnet for now. And then you start building a list, and then you sell something cheap, which is another no for me. And also, eventually you lead these people into something more expensive. It's the escalator, it's the ascension model, it's the whole thing, right? And as you know, I speak out against this a lot. Not that it doesn't work, it's because I've tried it. I've done it for many, many, many years, and it never really worked for me. And so many people are doing it now that it's just so played out that I find people coming into my world, it doesn't work for them. What are your thoughts on it, experiences, or anything like that? And please disagree with me if you disagree with me. That's okay.
I'm going to disagree with you, Joey, because I've launched a ton of digital products and software, and a lot of the learning we come from the same learning journey, and we've learned from the same people, and we've learned about funnels and that. And I've had a lot of success over the years doing this, creating a lead magnet, and then I'll use the industry vernacular, do a tripwire something, for $7-10, and then upsell it to something 47, and then give them something bigger. I've had success with it. I've also had an audience that would buy anything that I put out. So it's a little bit different. Now, as I'm building some new things, I don't ascribe to this. I do ascribe to giving a gift, giving some value, and giving more value, and maybe even another lead magnet or gift, and then providing some more value and using what you're talking about to accomplish it. What we talk about is, hey, by the way, if you're interested, we got this thing, or I'm putting together this program, or not the whole. I don't believe anymore in the whole funnel value ladder ascension of, okay, let me give you a $7 thing, and then sell you on a $47 thing, and then a $197, and then a $997, and a $10,000 Slack adjuster. It's just not what I'll do anymore. I believe in, well, let me give you some value and some more value and more value. And hey, by the way, now that I hope you got some value and you're making a little progress, I've got this other thing for you that might be $100, and it's going to give you this huge value, give you even more value. And then maybe you should come join my Facebook group and be part of my community. And then while you're in my community, I can help you even more. And then maybe later on, there's something else that you might be, like you do with VIP, and like you do with Atlas and Elite. And that is like, look, I want to help you in my community. And I think that's where everything is going to, Joey, is give a lead magnet with some value, some more value, give some emails with value. You've taught me, and I'm about to use it, is, okay, here's this cool thing that I'm going to teach you how to do that's going to help you get a result. Wow, that was amazing. Okay, now I want to teach you something else that's going to give you some amazing value and help you even more. And by the way, let me make it even easier and send you an email with something else that's going to make it even better. I learned that from you. And then, by the way, I've got this other thing here. If you're interested, if you want to make a transformational investment in some money for a program, that might come join my community, come join our community, get all the value. And then, by the way, here's some other things. So I don't believe in anymore in doing that. It works. It still works, but that's just not, I don't feel that that's what I want to do. I'll still put out content with, let's call them lead magnets, let's call it a gift, and give them another gift and say, I hope you found a lot of value in this. And oh, by the way, we have this thing, but it's not, you buy the $7 thing and then immediately you've got this thing for more and more. It's not that anymore. Does that make sense?
Kind of. I think you're contradicting yourself because you said you're disagreeing with me, and what I'm saying is that this is a slow road to success. And so what you're saying is that you've had success selling $7 items, and what is success to you?
Well, I've had success ascending them up in a traditional funnel. Now, you say a slow boat to success. What's the definition of slow boat to success?
Well, something like to sell a $7 item and to try and hopefully get them into a $1,000 product or a $5,000 coaching thingy is a slow road to success, because a $7 buyer is not a $5,000 buyer. Even a $7 buyer is not a $100 buyer.
I
And
agree with
that's just, okay. So if you agree with that, then that's what I mean by slow boat. Because I don't know. Again, let's just talk about $100,000 business. Okay, everybody
okay.
wants that, right? It's a slow road, and that's what I mean is that doing this is the slowest way to success at all. And you don't even know um, if anybody's going to ascend to the next model because they're totally different buyers.
Correct.
So we're on the same page again.
We are on the same page again. What I'm
Good.
saying is I've done it and I've made money doing it. I'm not doing it anymore. I will build something, but
So do
not
you
with.
agree it's a slow boat to success? Like what is success to you? Do you want to share anything like that? Because I don't want to put you on the spot, but I'm
No,
saying,
you'd never put me on the spot, Joey.
like what was success? Because I'm not saying it doesn't work. I'm not saying it didn't work. Um, but to get to success, $100,000. Did you make $100,000 on doing this? And how long did
No,
it take you?
no, well, it took me 2 years to do that.
Okay, so 2 years to sell a $7 thing to get to
Well, they weren't.
$100,000.
Okay, so let me back up. No, there was not $100,000 made with a $7 funnel, with a lead magnet, a tripwire, a core offer, a profit maximizer. That no, there were $7 to 47 to 97 that I was able to do successfully, but it's not sustainable, and
And how much
it's
money did you make from that? Like the whole over the time?
probably $30,000 from that piece over 2 years from doing that.
And that's slow, bro.
Oh
That's
yeah,
a slow
no,
boat to success. That's what I mean.
I agree with you. That is a
Okay,
slow
cool.
boat. Yes. Yep. I'm in agreement. Yes.
Cool. And I know there's something funky with my video here. I've been trying like all kinds of different things to get my video working. So I apologize for all the glitchy thingy. But
Mine's fine,
hopefully,
by the way.
I know yours is like perfect. So it's me
Well,
just trying to connect all
as it
this stuff. Let's look at the faster boat to success. Um, Insight matters absolutely the most. That's what I've found over the last few years. And I still believe that today. And it's where, anyway, let's go on and we'll talk about this. It's 100 times more powerful than knowledge. You and I both know that the knowledge based business is pretty much over, but a lot of people don't even know that yet. They're not even
yeah.
aware of it yet. They're still trying to sell knowledge, but knowledge means nothing unless you can apply the knowledge. And that's where our insight comes in. That's where our guidance comes in. And if we think about Ray Kroc, look at McDonald's, and we're going to go way back. Well, look at the insight that Ray Kroc had. He turned a restaurant business into a real estate company that just happens to sell burgers. So it had nothing to do with, buying a restaurant that had a system in place on how to make hamburgers in 30 seconds. It was like, wait a second, I can own a real estate company, and by putting all these restaurants all over the world, all over the country. And to prove it, Ray died with $70 billion, and the dudes who sold him the business barely $1 million. So this is the kind of thinking that I want to share with the world here and share with our tribe on how do you get to faster success by insights. Any thoughts, comments on this one so far?
Well, I'm going to agree with you because it is about insights. And you said it's about our contribution of it. Knowledge is dead. If you put out another ebook or another course, it's not. Somebody asked a question, I think it was in our group today, and it was, they wanted to know about us sending people to a membership. And it was about, well, what happens if you give a ton of value and the value add? Somebody was talking about a bait. I don't know if it was in one of the other groups, and they wanted somebody's opinion on it. And it wasn't,
Right.
well, here, go read this ebook or go read this book. Everybody's answer is go read a book. I don't think that's the answer anymore. I think the answer is if you try this strategy, if you put out a lead magnet and you give some value, and then you bring people in and they're in your community, and you have a program that we've talked about this a lot. When
Right.
somebody joins Atlas, yeah, a lot of the information you provide, they can find in other places, but it's your insight, it's your wisdom, it's your years that you look at it and go, it was like today I was reading somebody's copy or reading the information, and I'm like, da 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 da. It's like that's how my brain worked from doing it, that I was able to. They can't go read the book that Ray Edwards wrote or the other guy wrote or take a course and figure out. It's here's these 10 subject lines that are going to get people to open it. Here's the copy that's going to work to get people to go to the next step, to the next step, to the next step. That's the insight. That's the value we bring. People are like, well, going back to the blue ocean piece, which is, hey, here we are, and the industry is doing this. Well, the industry doesn't have you. And that's what
Yeah.
I'm seeing with everybody that's in our community is they're starting to understand that what they bring to the table is the value.
Yeah,
Monica,
exactly.
Monica, for example, is she sees the value that she brings to helping people have fun and create and do all the things they need to do, rather than here's a course on patterns that I could buy anywhere on the internet. I could go buy a marketing course from one of, I don't know, 100,000 people on the internet. But if I
Hmm.
want to learn how to do it the Atlas way and build it over time and sustainable, I'm going to hang out with you in your tribe.
Hmm. Yeah. Thank you. Okay, so let's go into this a little bit more and talk about how to shortcut the growth of your business. Insight, as we already discussed, is your insight into what the market truly needs and wants, and this will make you rich. And we talk about this almost every show. We talk about dream clients, getting to understand them more than they understand themselves, the chain of beliefs, all that kind of stuff. But it's the insight. It's the groundwork that we need to do to understand the market a lot better. And by thinking beyond the scope of industry standards, and you know how I feel about industry standards, right?
Yep.
And that's all that I all that I look at is how do I go beyond what everybody else is doing? How do I go the opposite way, that do different stuff? And that is what is going to make you rich. Just look going back at Ray Kroc and McDonald's. It wasn't about a new restaurant, and maybe selling like a $297 product to 1,000 people is a slow boat. Like I remember thinking that 297 was like the be all end all. I still have, I think, a chart over there that shows me how much I can make at 297. Do I still have it there? Well, I don't. I think it's 390. Or no, I do have it. It was 100,000 is 337 people a year. Yeah, something like that. So I have the chart over there, and that was like, this is going to be it, right? And I'm like, but that's still a slow boat to success for me. What happens if you sold a $2,000 product to 50 dream clients who need your insight and your expertise, which is what you're doing with your new program, what I'm
Yeah.
doing with Atlas? Like it's like that's what people are coming to us for, and they're willing to pay to get those insights and the knowledge and the experience. And then you have a sweet six-figure business that way.
Right. I mean, you
Cool.
take that a little further, and what if you sold a $5,000 program product to, 20 dream clients? Now all of a sudden you got your $100,000.
Yeah, exactly. But I totally get that. But the paradigm that I speak to a lot are people who are already freaking out about $1,000 or 1,000. So like when
Okay.
even when we're speaking to me, you remember when I had the limiting mindset of like, well, that's
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
I know the math, but I'm not there. I'm not the believer. However, the $2,000 I think is easier for people to get to.
Well,
Like,
it's an
you know,
interesting, you talk about, Joey, is insight into your market's true needs. I was
yes,
talking to Angel Hill the other day, and she's been doing some research into the marketplace, and finding out that if we go out and try and get $5,000 or $10,000 from people, that's pretty tough. It's the lift is difficult on that. $2,000, $2,500, it's not a difficult lift, really. People can look at it and say, yeah, $2,000 for whatever it is, that the program, this, that. They can figure that out and come up with it. Once we start raising the numbers, and I always like to talk about higher numbers, but down at that $2,000 level that you're playing with, it's a lot more realistic. And from the provider side, from the marketer side, like you said, okay, maybe I'm having trouble with I'm 297.
right.
Well, gosh, 997, that's a lot. Well, $2,000. But if you start to push people to five, seven, $10,000, they're going to freak out.
Yeah. Even if you cut it in half and do like $1,000 for 100 people, that's
Yeah,
so much different than 337 people a year. So it's
yeah,
just thinking again of like, how do I simplify this? And that this is how I rebuilt my business is by
yeah,
just jumping right into that. And this isn't even high ticket. Like this is the other mindset. We can talk all about that later, but this isn't even high ticket. And this was where high ticket used to be positioned. How do I get a
yeah.
high ticket customer at $2,000? That's not high ticket anymore. This is mid numbers. So how
That
do you
was
achieve
that
this?
was that was like 7 years ago. 2000 was high ticket.
Yeah.
Joey, what's your thought on somebody that wants to build continuity and wants to do a membership, that wants to like have a recurring revenue, and they want, let's say, $100 a month, or whatever, $97 a month, or 49 or 79, whatever the number is. Let's just say 100 to make math easy. What about 100 people a month paying you $100?
It's all I don't have a I think it'll still work. But if you factor in the churn, you factor in all of that stuff, there's always a constant you're always trying to fill that void. And
Right.
it's 100 relationships that you're dealing with. Whereas, yeah, if you still did it over the year, it's a whole lot easier for me. If you're working to get 100 people over a year, which is, I don't know what the math works out to per month, whatever it is, let's say 10 people per month, whatever. It's a
Right.
whole lot easier than keeping 100 people per month. And I
Right.
know that at least for me, there's only my opinionated knowledge of it because I tried the membership, was that a low dollar membership is the first thing to go, bet more than Netflix, no matter how much they need it. And so that's why I don't like the model. I'd rather work with the lowest amount of people possible, not because I'm lazy. It's because I want to increase what we're just talking about here, which is insight, knowledge, guidance, relationships, care, all of those things for that person. And the least amount of relationships that you have, 25, 30, 50 people, whatever, it's so much easier to have those conversations and relationships and one-on-one communications that people know that you really do care. That's just my opinion.
I wanted your opinion because I know there are people that want to build memberships and are looking at memberships and running numbers and saying, "Well, I've had this many people at this and that." And I mean, we have the community. It's technically it's a not a membership, but it's people come in and they get value. But then you have your VIP and you have your Atlas and you have your Elite.
Yeah, and for me, like that's what I mean is like I took the model and turned it on its head, where I'm still doing membership, I'm still doing, if you want to call it content, but um see, I spoke to a few people this week about this.
Yep.
this exact thing. And it all comes back to what we talk about in terms of what do you do really well and build around that. And you know me is just show up and solve people's problems. That's it. I don't want to be building content. I don't want to be throwing it in the membership area. I don't want to like, okay, when's this week's content going to come out?
Yep.
I'm the type of person that I'll show up, talk about your problem, fix it, and or when I learn something from a book or something, I'm like, holy crap, that was really amazing. Put two slides together, record it, throw it up, and say, here's some stuff I want to teach you. But it's not like, well, every Monday at 2 o'clock, this thing's going to come out, right? I don't like that. So I built my business around me, around what I'm really great at, and that's the key of it all. So it's still kind of a membership model, but it's kind of free. And then when people get all of that great um, advice or guidance from my superpowers, then they want to ascend into Atlas or write marketing copy on their timeline, all the stuff we talk about. So to me, it was just, this is pretty simple. I don't want to charge 97 bucks anymore. I don't want to charge whatever it is for a membership and worry about all this bookkeeping and everything else and all that stuff. For me, it was just, it's pretty simple. Come up, show up here, and those people are dream clients in training for me who move into a 2,000 or actually more than that. They move into a $4,000 program or write marketing copy at $1,500 right
Joey,
away.
talk if you would, because you had VIP, which was a monthly
Yeah,
thing.
right.
Talk to us about why you changed it and how you changed it and the decision you made.
Okay. The VIP was $1,000 a year, which was
Hmm.
an amazing value, still
Yep.
amazing value. Weekly coaching. And what happened was I found that people were not showing up as much anymore. And the people that were getting in, because I would give a 30-day trial to it to again prove like, hey, this is for real and this is what we're doing. Those people that would come in, even though it was a great value, it wasn't in the budget for them. So they couldn't stay. So they would come in, they'd drop off. So that was happening all the time, right? And as you know, my mission is to serve as much as I can. So it was make the shift to premium dream clients, build the business there. So you have time, money, and freedom to help the people who cannot yet, who can't afford maybe that budget of $97 a month or whatever it is, $1,000 per year, uh, and serve them for free as much as it, and so they can get the momentum that they need. And then I want to now go into your higher premium programs. And so it was all the combination of a whole bunch of things. And so for me, it was like, again, I just want simplicity. I don't want to be dealing with all of this stuff happening month by month by month, or people coming in and out and all these things happening, just simplicity. So it was just a decision to how can I serve truly and step into what I actually say, like actually walk the talk, right? And serve. And it gave me the opportunity because my business grew the way I wanted it to turn around and say, I'm no longer charging for this and giving the market what they need. I don't know if I answered that question there right, but
Yeah, it did, Joey. And I think it talks to what we've done over the past few years. And I remember you were on the Kajabi Dream Client Connection program you did the other day. And you were saying, hey, my buddy and I, Scott, a couple of years ago, we started talking to each other and we'd answer each other's questions. And the same thing in the
yeah,
group. And over time it built, but you still had that group where people could come in and ascend. And yeah, it is so much easier to get 20 people at X or 30 or 50 people at whatever. And even if we talk about one to many, Alex Hermosian's book, where no, $100 million offers, gladly, it's just one to many right next to it. To go out and get somebody to pay you a little bit more and provide so much value. I'm playing with a couple of offers right now for people to be like, hey, I'll help you out for the next X number of months and it's going to cost you this. I
right,
only need a
right,
couple of 2 or 3 of them to do that, to make the
right,
money you need, instead of going back to what I used to do. Okay, I got to go figure out today how to launch a product that I'm going to get $97 to $97, sell 50 of them, make a few $1,000s. Great. Now I got to do it again. Now I got to
Right.
do it again instead of, well, let me find a few people that I can engage with and help and serve and really make a difference over the next few months. So,
Right.
yeah,
And that comes down to the insight and all the stuff, that knowledge and everything you bring to the table. So
yep,
to me, it's like, and we've agreed on this before, so I know you agree with this, is that we put the same amount of energy into getting the $50 client or the $5,000 client. It's the
yes,
same amount of energy. And once I totally understood that and totally went double down on that, everything changed. So it was
yeah,
like, okay, for the next 3 months, whatever, I'm probably going to make $0 here, and I'm going to focus on getting my first, let's call it $5,000 client, rather than struggling every day to try and get a $50 client, right?
mm,
And it worked. It all worked because, like I just said, it just builds the business very quickly, and then you can serve even more people. And I know that those, all the people in the free areas, not all of them are going to be clients who will buy into the program, into a higher price program. And that's okay, because, but I don't need the lower end stuff to have pocket money. That's what it was for me. It's like a couple, like you just said, a couple $1,000 here, $1,000 there, but I'm always stressed out.
yeah.
And I no longer feel that way at all. Like I can float for a long, long time and serve, and they, I believe my tribe knows and feels that I'm not about selling them. They're there that he really cares and and wants to serve us, right? And it's, I blatantly tell people, like, I'm doing this because eventually I want you to make some money so you can invest with me later, so I can help you move even faster.
Well,
No secrets.
I'll go back to Alex Hermosian, his book, $100 million offers. He puts out, you go
Yeah.
to his website, he will teach you everything he knows on how to build a business that you hopefully will make $1 million to $3 million. Then he wants you to come to him because now he wants to take you to $30 million.
Right.
Doing
Right.
the same thing, Joey, is you're
Yeah.
teaching him how to make a couple of thousand or get a couple of clients to pay him a couple of grand. If somebody followed you, followed what we talk about, got a couple of clients, it maybe took them a month or two, that paid them a couple of thousand each, and all of a sudden they had 4 or 5 grand, and they go, okay, if I get one more, I could get into Atlas. And now I
Exactly.
could really now I could get 10 to pay me 3 grand. Now I got 30 grand. I just do that a couple of times. I got my $100,000. Life is okay.
Yeah. Exactly right. Glenn, I told my employee in 1999 when I shut down my office in Vancouver, that he should go into his own and charge 1 million for his services when clients come after him. Blew his mind. 2 months later, $1 million contract. Love it. Changed his world. Same principle. Know your worth, but know what type of transformation you can help someone obtain. Absolutely. If you can
Yep.
help someone transform and make 100,000, they will pay you 10% without blinking. You cannot charge this. Brilliant. Here's something uh that I just came to me as I was talking to my lead crew on Monday. I was talking to a whole bunch of people. So it's only Tuesday. Holy crap. I feel as though it's like Friday. I've had so many conversations in these last 2 days. And to Glenn's point, and this is a new way of looking at the dream client, because I've had a lot of dream client conversations. What's the difference? I put out that whole, because of the Kajabi thing on Friday, a lot of messages like, holy crap, this blew my mind, in terms of like, I really do see the difference now of what the avatar and dream client is. So I had a lot of those discussions, and this analogy came, and I said, like, we've heard before, I think we've said a few times, Scott, that the dream client is like the hell yes person, like the heck yeah, right?
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
think about it this way: the dream client is someone who is just close to the finish line. Okay, they're already in momentum, they're already running. You don't have to do anything except sprinkle your magic dust to get them over the finish line. That's what a dream client is. They're already, there's already, everything's working already, basically. And it's like, this is amazing. And they come into you and they're like, I just can't get over that finish line. And you're like, wow, this is simple for me, because superpower matrix, all the stuff we talk about. right? You look at that person, you go, holy crap, I love this person because they fit my life, because all of that stuff. But then they already have this thing happening that you could either fix real quick, or they're already moving real quick. And they're like, I just need help. And you're like, no problem. Sprinkle a little bit of your fairy dust on them, right? And they cross the finish line. That's what a dream client really is.
Joey, I'm going to jump right on that because that is such an important piece here. If you can sprinkle your magic dust on it with your superpowers, which everybody has that, it goes to what do you know that others don't know that they need to know? The person who's your dream client that's close to the finish line that maybe has 90x% of everything in place. And you
Right.
go look at it and go, well, if you change this, if you do this, if you tweak this, it's like, I'm writing some copy for a fellow. He's putting an offer out and he asked me a question and I answered him and he goes, holy crap. He goes, that's why I like you. It's exactly
Right.
what he said. That's why I like you. Because I was able to look at something that he was like struggling with and go, no, that's what that is. And that's what, and he goes, holy crap, you're right. And so now he would have struggled and spent weeks, months, money, that, and not gotten anywhere. And one thing, because I can see it, my superpower, you can see it. And everybody on this call has that superpower. And the realization is the transformational investment, like Dan said, if you can look at it and go, well, I can help and fix it and that in a short period of time, gets to the finish line, there's not a 297 or 497 or that. Is like, whatever. How much you want? Well, it's a couple of $5,000. Okay, great. Because you just are going to make me this, or you did this, or you changed
Right.
this.
Right. And that's where the insight comes to. That's why we're talking about this. It's just like the whole turn the screw story, right? I turned the screw, paid $10,000 for knowing what screw to turn, like all these things. That's
Whatever.
insight. That's the whole thing that we're talking about. Make it real easy for you to use this up here.
That's what we sell, Joey. We don't sell stuff and things and programs and product. Yeah, those help. But at the end of the day, it's like one of the biggest challenges is people who want to go on social media and go live and share, and that is making a video because they're scared to death. Like you and I do this, like, whatever, turn on the camera, let's go live. But for the average person, it's like, well, what do I talk about? How do I talk about? What do I do? And do I use my phone? Do I use a camera? And so the other day I was like, I did an interview with a dude a couple of years ago and I got a little program. So I'm going to put this all together. And guess what? That's going to be a tiny little lead magnet for people. Because, yeah, I'm going to teach you how to build a landing page, but you want to get some people to the landing page. So what if I taught you, with a friend, how to get more people to your landing page without spending any money? And you're like, well, the objection is I can't go live because I don't. Well, let me show you how to do it real easy. Let me give you a couple of formulas. Like within literally 10 minutes, I'm going to have you making some videos so you can put them out on Facebook and YouTube and Instagram and TikTok and blah, blah, blah. And then I got this other stuff for you, this other stuff for you. So they're like, holy crap, I'm doing something I couldn't do because of your insight, because
Right.
I've made over 1,000 videos and I've spoken to thousands of people and hundreds of audiences. That's just like all of a sudden, like, oh, wait, that's another piece in the puzzle that was missing that I get to help people to do. And that's the insight. And if they're like, holy crap, you gave me that for free. That was
Right.
amazing. You've moved it to where it's like, okay, now I got this program that you can invest in and that. And they're like, well, now I got people coming to my landing page and my landing page is working and I'm converting people to my lead magnet, my gift. Congratulations, Dan became a great grandfather for the fourth time.
Congratulations, Dan.
The
Very, very
important.
cool.
By the way,
Uh,
I'm reading the book you recommended by Seth Godin, The Practice.
how do you like it?
I love it. It's like
Yeah.
fantastic. And one of the pieces of it, he talks about us getting out there and doing what we love and
Yeah.
practice with it and not. And I'm going to bring in one of the examples of Seth Godin was on an outing and an event for like a few days. And one of the activities that was planned by the organizer was they were all going to go fly fishing. And Seth Godin did not want to catch a fish, even though they were going to release it. His just some reason didn't want to. Everybody else that went out was trying to catch a fish. And he went to the dude and said, give me a lure that won't catch any fish. He spent the whole time practicing his cast and his form, and there was no expectation on the outcome of catching the fish. And he spent all that time. And if we spent our time not trying to always catch the fish, which goes to, let's get out and give value and see when somebody sees that you can get them to the finish line with your wisdom, with your knowledge, with that intuition, they're going to say, help me here. Here's some money.
Right. Yeah, exactly right. What a great story. I mean, that's one of my favorite books.
Yeah.
There's a lot of favorite books that he has, but that one there is just blew me away because it was all about the stuff that we talk about, is going out and just putting out the idea and seeing what happens. So let's get back to this. How to achieve the
Why do we
success
gotta
and
get back
growth
to
quicker.
anything? Since when do we get back to things? Just
Today.
because you prepared some fancy slides.
Oh yeah, these are real fancy. These are real fancy. Black and white.
I'm
Actually, there's a little bit of color.
I'm also reading Simplicity at the same time, by the way.
Yeah. Here's how you achieve things. This is eliminate, reduce, raise, create, grid. So the first thing is you eliminate. The second thing is you raise. And third thing is reduce. And the fourth is to create. And we'll dive into these. So the 4 actions framework, this is from the Blue Ocean strategy, is to eliminate factors that the industry takes for granted. And once you probably remember this from the book, Scott, but for people who know me, you'll now understand what exactly I'm doing behind the scenes is following this framework. I'm also I'm eliminating stuff that the industry takes for granted. I raise the factors that are well above industry standard. One of the ways that I did this was, like you just brought up, the VIP or the weekly coaching, right?
Yep.
Even when it was paid for, it was, no, I'm staying on this call until everything is answered. Where the industry standard was, you get one, hopefully you'll get one question, and once you have asked one question, that's it. And so I've raised the bar on all of that stuff when I do it. Anything comes to mind for you of how you've raised the bar or eliminated something?
About 2 things we've done for the past few years. Is one, we have a group that is well above the industry standard. You and I belong to a lot of different groups, but the value that's provided on an ongoing basis, the answers, the help that people receive in a group for free, and what we do here. Anybody can come and ask any question, and we'll give them transformation like within an hour. And the industry standard is, well, you got to pay to get on the webinar, or you could join my group, but there's all the crap going on in the groups. Like, no crap goes on in our group. There's no bots and there's no anything. It's just pure value. So, factors should be well above the industry standard is the value. Yes, I get on and it's like, okay, let's go. And I'll go until I've answered every single question. Anybody got any questions? It's, we're 2 hours into this. I said we're going to stop at an hour.
Right. I hear that. And reducing factors that should be well below industry standard. So, reducing things that are obstacles, things that are getting in the way. An example for me would be opt-in pages, landing pages. So reducing all that friction and letting people in for free and then asking them later. So that's a way that I reduce things. And then creating the industry that has never offered or should be created. This is the 4 action framework. And before I go on to an example, is there anything you want to add to that?
Well, I'll go into reduce, because in the landing page opt-in formula last week, it was perfect, because right before I did it, there was a fellow that posted his sales page. And he called it a landing page, but it wasn't. It was the most convoluted, one of the most convoluted sales pages I've ever seen. And I went and basically I said, you asked, and I went through it in the greatest of detail. You jumped in, and then he redid it. And cool. I then went back in and I did a 12-minute video on it and got it to the point where, the industry standard is, for some reason now, everybody's got to have these long sales pages with everything on the universe in it that nobody's ever going to read. And I think I came up with a new term that was, I'm sure there's a term for it, but to me it was, what's the page investment time? What's the amount of time somebody needs to invest in your page? And it's longer than a couple of minutes, then they're gone. They're not going to sit there for an hour going and watching every video and reading everything. They're going to be like, is there anything here for me right now that will help me solve the problem I have and move the needle a little closer? And if that's the case, then they're going to do it. And like the next iteration of the landing page opt-in formula, I'm going to do two different things, and I'm building templates for people to make it even easier. And so making it simple, reducing the work that somebody has to do. And it's like, okay, for example, reduce well below the industry standard. The industry standard is have them give you their name and email to opt in order for you to give them something. Well, that requires an investment of their time and their click. And there's a percentage of people that are like, I don't want to give you my name and email. Well, what happens if you just give them the stuff right there and then say, hey, if you like this, I got some more stuff. But in order for me to give it to you, I'd like to send it to you by email so that you blah, 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 blah,
Yeah,
blah.
that's
blah.
what I mean. That's exactly you're reducing, you're taking away the first requirement, and then you create the other place where they're opting at the end if they're the right dream clients, and that's where the industry is not offering that or should be created. That's how it should be, and that's going to become standard.
Years ago when I was doing seminars, and I would go and teach people how to market their business. And in the 3.5 hours, I'd teach them everything they needed to know. And at the end, I was like, you got two choices. Go do what I taught you or hire us to do it. And I think at the time it was like $2,500 to get in. And at one point, I was like, the barrier to entry is too high. I lowered the barrier to entry well below the industry standards. And instead of them paying me $2,500 and then like $350 a month, I just said, well, what if you just paid me the $350 a month? And all of a sudden, everyone was like, I'm in. And we had like, 10, 20, 30 each program were signing up so that we could help them do the thing. So yeah, definitely reduce it. What was the last one, Joey? You were going to use the Cirque du Soleil example.
Yeah, we'll come back to that in a second. So just want to give some props here on the comments. So business operators get stuck every once in a while. They're human, not machines. A little insight from someone outside their operation can be extremely valuable. It can push them over the finish line. Always. That's the reason I still hire coaches, Glenn. It's the same thing, man. I know a lot of stuff, but just sitting in a room with people who are doing the same things I'm doing and doing stuff that I'm not doing just pushes me further. So you're absolutely right. And Sutton, it was really a sad opt-in page that he shared. I don't want to read a long sales page to your point. I just want to know what you got and how it will help me. So cool. So awesome. Congratulations. I don't know what that, probably to Dan's.
And just made it real simple. What you got? How will it help me? That's it. Yeah. What you got? What do you got for me? How's it going to help me? Good. Let's move on.
Lisa, you can catch on the replay. We talked a little bit about memberships. Maybe we'll come back to that too. And that is cool. And so this is what I'm talking about, the Cirque du Soleil example. And this will open up just some thoughts and mindset around what we're talking about when we talk about eliminating. So what they did is they eliminated star performers, animals, and the concession sales. That elevated their what they were all about. They weren't just a regular circus. And they raised the price. It became a unique value or a unique venue to go to this place. And that's what I mean by raising the standards. That's why for me, with Atlas, it's all about raising the standards. It's like, yeah, this is a coaching program. It's a group thing. You can do it everywhere else, but you don't get what Atlas brings, which is the community, the tribe, the love, the support, the year-long thingy that comes with me, one-on-one support, where people leave, they, even if they have high-pitched programs, they pay and then they leave them alone. They're on their own. So I've raised the price and I gave a unique experience. Reduce the fun and the humor, thrill and danger. So they changed it. Like they made all the fun, they got rid of it, and all the danger that was inside of the circus, and they got rid of that. And then they created a theme. multiple productions. They incorporated dance. They incorporated all these um, themes and theatrics, and that's how they made themselves a whole bunch of money real quick. Thoughts on that?
Yeah, definitely. The price. They raised the price. And to
It wasn't
me,
just
this
about the price.
I
It was
know
first
that,
about
but
what they're going to eliminate and all that, right? Is
right. But in eliminating things and raising the price, and to me, if you put all this together, it's the experience. They created an experience that was so unique and different. Instead of saying, well, what's everybody else doing? They created their own blue ocean here.
Yeah, well, let's look at okay. So let's go back to memberships. So when people talk about like how do I structure my membership? What does it look like? What things do I need in place? What's the technology look like? What are the programs I need to record my stuff? Like all this stuff. And I said, I'm always in there going, it's really simple. I put a couple of slides together like this. They're not even gorgeous slides. I teach a couple of points, give my insight, record that on Zoom, throw Zoom into Kajabi, and I'm done.
Yep.
That's the whole
That's
thing.
it.
And that's a $5,000 program.
Yeah.
And that's what I mean. I'm reducing all of the friction of producing a membership, right? It's like, this is what it is. And make it, and raising the experience, like you said, raising the care and one-on-one experience inside our group environment.
Well, and Joey, I want to go back to what you just said is making it so simple and cutting the complexity down. That, like, okay, I just read this thing about this idea that I had, simplicity, for example. I read
Yeah.
it the other night, and one of the pieces was he talked about how one day he was leaving to go to church and he had a meeting, and he would have 4 meetings a week. And his 3-year-old daughter said, "Daddy, are you leaving us again?" Something like that. And he walked out and goes, "My 3-year-old just said, 'Are you leaving us again?'" And at that night, he was like, "Okay, I have these meetings scheduled. What happens if I schedule home time?" And he put, 4 letters, one word, home. And he scheduled home 4 nights a week, where people are like, "Hey, I'm a great dad. I'm home Friday nights with my family." He's like, "Well, I'm home 4 or 5 nights a week with my family." And he put it in the calendar. And then, of course, he talks about other things you put in your calendar, like exercise or nutrition or prayer or whatever it is. And I'm like, that already is my calendar. It's like, if you look at my calendar, the calendar is already there, pre-printed with all of those things. But the simplicity of that was just, well, put in your calendar. Like you and I have talked a couple of times, is what if you put in your calendar to plan, time to plan to plan? And it was just in your calendar. It was like, on this day, I plan. Tuesday nights, it's in my calendar. It's ingrained in it. It's not even in the calendar anymore.
Yeah.
If, like, I printed out my calendar, it would already be there. Tuesday at 7 o'clock, Heart-Centered Marketing Made Easy with Joey. It's just there. And all of a sudden, just put it in your calendar. And it's like, whatever the activity is, make it, the simplicity of it was fantastic. Just another little thing, for me, if I had another group in that, I could say, okay, today I'm going to talk about the simplicity of your calendar. I want you to go schedule this. I want you to go schedule doing a live video once a day. That's it, 5 minutes, like morning pages, Julia Cameron. Plan on scheduling 10 minutes a day to write no matter what. And that's it. That's the content. And then have to do, and someone will go, wow, that's a great idea. I could go try that right now.
Let's talk about the three characteristics of a good strategy. Number one is focus. Number two is divergence. And the third one is the tagline. And so why strategies matter, or these qualities matter, is this: that focus is your strategic profile or value curve should clearly show this. Like, what is the value that you bring to the marketplace? Your dream clients should know that. And it's all focused on that. This is one of the reasons why I constantly talk about one path, one thing, focus on the one thing that you are great at, the one superpower, so that everybody knows it. And that's the focus. And when you focus on something, then you know where the problems are. And what happens is, I see a lot, is when we hit this wall or this problem or something like that, we're going on a path and we're hitting this problem, we just divert, and we're like, I'm going to just go over there and do this because we don't want to deal with the problem. And the more you bring in distractions and do all these other things, you don't know what the broken piece is. Whereas if you're on the train tracks, there's nowhere else to go. You got to deal with the problem and get through it. And that's what focus does. An example is Southwest Airlines. Price against car transportation, they didn't price against airlines. And so they don't make the investment into extra meals or seating choices. Like, it's pretty simple. Like, how what is your strategic profile, and how are you going against industry standards? The competitors can't match them because the competitors are focused on industry standards. And again, that industry standards comes up, and that's why I don't focus on any that everyone else is doing. Let everyone do the same thing, and let's do something different. Let's look at divergence. Divergence is how you're positioned in the market. Most companies are formed reactively because what they're doing is they're trying to keep up with everybody. And we talk about this all the time, Scott, right? Like, this
Yeah,
this is what everybody's doing. We just talked about memberships. Again, there's nothing wrong with these things, but it's like, is that what you need to be doing? How does this all fit around your life? What does it look like? Make it about you first, your dream clients second, and the business third, and then the program fourth. Like, who is it all about? And when you focus on that, you're not chasing anybody else's dream. You're not doing anybody else's models, even though we all borrow from the models. But we're not being like the competitor saying, I'm better than that person or I'm cheaper than that person. They lose uniqueness when you do that. It's like, well, I remember speaking about the speaking industry when I was first started speaking, and some dude was saying, I was in the backstage and he goes, so, like, what are you like? Like, who are you? Like, what's your kind of vibe? Like when you get up there? And I was saying, I was use Brendan Burchard. I'd be like, well, Brendan and Tony Robbins. I'm kind of like that. Like, just merge them together. And I'll never forget what he said. He goes, you know what I'd like to see? I go, what? He goes, I'd like to see Joey Ragona up there. And I'll never ever forget that,
yeah,
because I was trying to compete and
yeah,
really not, but just like, that's who I'm like. No,
yeah.
right? Any thoughts on this?
Well, total agreement is. I remember Barb Schwartz did a program, your own uniqueness, YOU, and it was about just that. Is forget about everybody else and try to emulate this one, and this one, and this one, and this one, and just be like, okay, how do I be me? How do I show up as me? Because that I was watching a series of interviews I did with a fellow who wrote a book and did a program called Confidence on Camera, because I'm about to do a bunch of mini videos on how to get good on camera so that you can go live. And one of the things he talked about was people want to buy from and believe in people.
Hmm.
And they don't want somebody that's like somebody else. So that guy is like so and so. That gal is like so and so. They want somebody that's unique, that's different, that says, you're different. You're definitely different. And it's like I want to hang out with this guy because he's different than everybody else. It's like, well, okay, here's how you do it. And everybody is like, do the story brand thingy. I don't even know what that thing is because I don't
What?
really care. Or, do it the way this thing. And I think I read something the other day that somebody had done something according to what everybody told them to do, and it
Right.
wasn't working because it was according to what everybody else. And take what makes most sense to you, and from this one, this one, and this one, put it all into the melting pot, and then come up with your own brew that has parts and pieces, but that's about you.
Yeah,
So,
totally right, totally right. One of my favorite mentors, writers, authors, coaches is Sally Hogshead. And her different is better than better is just, that's all me. Like, if I could describe who I am, it's that. And here I
yeah,
am comparing myself to that now. But no, like, different is better than better. And that's the whole idea, is how do you stand out? Well, just be different. Because better, just to say you're better is like the worst marketing thing you could ever do.
No,
I,
you
I'm
don't want
I'm
to be
I'm better than those guys because you're not
no,
better.
I'm
When you're
different
different,
than
it's cool.
us.
So let's go look at an example here of how you can position differently. Again, with Southwest Airlines, they pioneered point-to-point travel between mid-sized cities rather than having to go through the standard hub and spoke system of like big airports. And that's kind of how they positioned. And again, it was just so different. And that's how they became pretty rich pretty quick.
The other thing they
Let's
did too, Joey, was
yes,
they they did not have a lot of airplanes in the beginning.
right.
And what they did was they got their ground crews to get so good that they were able to flip their planes so fast that people
Mhm.
thought there were more planes and more flights because their time on the ground was less than anybody's. They figured it out. They cut the complexity. They made it easier instead of, well, okay, this is like the second that thing landed, everything was ready to go. The
Yeah.
plane there, the second people were off, the cleaning crew, it was turned around and gone.
Yeah, and
And
there was
people,
no meals. There's no meals to clean up. All that crap is already gone. So that's
yeah,
half the time of cleaning right there, right?
meals, that's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah. Thank
Meals.
you, Lisa. And I don't know who this is, but thank you for the. My hands are busy cooking. Appreciate the value. Thank you so much for listening and
Uh, Let me see.
being in the kitchen with you.
That's Angel.
Oh, thank you, Angel. Cool. Let's go back to this, and I think there's just one more example here, which is, oops, I don't know why that happened. Why did that happen?
Because your
Okay.
technology is left.
The compelling tagline, which is the last piece of it, is the clear cut and compelling tagline. It needs to deliver a very clear cut message and also advertise the truth in offering, a truthful offering. This is all the stuff we talk about. And one of the most effective ways to test marketing strategies is to look whether it contains a strong or authentic tagline. This is up your alley, right? This is all the stuff that you love. And
Yeah.
here's the example of Southwest Airlines: the speed of a plane at the price of a car whenever you need it.
Yep.
And that tells everything of what their whole tagline is, if you're into taglines. But yeah, so that is the slides for today, just the insight. So I know we've been
Joey,
going in
I'm going to
between.
give you some applause. That
Oh,
was
thank
a wonderful job of putting together the slides so that we actually had a presentation for a change.
you. Thanks. Yeah,
I know you were jealous because I had the whole landing page presentation a couple of weeks ago.
exactly.
You had to do
Yeah.
something. Colley's got a comment here. They
Uh,
had only one aircraft. The mechanics had only to be trained in the one, and PWA in Canada did the same until they gobbled up all the others. And then I'm back at Air Canada. This I know. I was part of this, and it's in my book. One chapter to finish. Yay, Colley. One chapter to finish.
Amazing. You see, and that again, it's about one thing, not adding more planes, more destinations, all this stuff. It's one thing. And if there's one thing that I've learned this year from my mastermind groups and coaching and all that, is that it's one path. Every time I talk to a millionaire or billionaire and like, what's the secret? They all say, just do one thing, do it really well, and eliminate everything else.
Yep.
So that's why I'm going back to this stuff and re-looking, revisiting the blue ocean strategy. And it's not just a like a quick fix thingy. It's like, how do you think outside the box? How do you do something that is so different and double down on that and just go all the way?
That's Joey, when I talk about one big idea, that's what that's all about is how do we simplify it so much for the dream client that when they see it, they get it. There's no complexity. It's like, I get it. I know what, going back to what Ann said, what you got and how's it going to help me? That's it.
Right. Right. But we differ though, because you add more stuff than I do. Like that's where we
Yeah.
differ.
Yeah.
Because you're adding all of these other programs and I'm not. Like I just have even Right Marketing Copy and Atlas are the same thing. It's about dream clients. It's about connecting with those dream clients and getting them into
Right.
your world.
And
Right.
you and I
So
are different. Thank God for that.
yeah. Yeah.
'Cause I don't know if I
So the
could lift
one
that.
thing, the big one thing, you don't. I'm not sure if you have that or not. Do you?
No.
Or is there like a big end goal for it?
No. I'll report back to you on that next week.
Okay.
Unless you're like, did I have the book? Yeah, I got the book. The one thing, it's right there. But no, I
Yeah.
know what. Yeah.
Any comments or questions about this regarding your business? We'd love to hear from you in the tribe. Thank you for all the comments so far. And looks like you liked it. Thank you very much. And yeah, amazing. Thank you, Dan. How we can help more people in clear and concise way. Exactly. Insights. So I think that it all boils down into that. It's like um, it's insight. Sell your insight and guidance, and that's what dream clients will pay you for. You're welcome, Lisa. Glad you're in our tribe. Thank you so much.
We love having you, Lisa and Debbie. They're wonderful. Everybody's wonderful.
Everybody's good. I love it. The tribe is amazing. So there we go. That is another Tuesday night. And hey, we actually stayed on track a little bit today with the topic at hand. We go all over the place, and that's what
That's
makes this
amazing,
unique.
Joey.
Pardon me?
That's amazing that we actually did stay on track.
But that's the beauty of it. Like outside the industry standard, sometimes we don't stay on track. So it's like whatever happens,
Exactly.
happens.
Yep.
You are so welcome. We will see you next Tuesday, whatever that is, 7 days from now. I think it's the 17th, if my math is right. At
Next Tuesday.
7 o'clock next Tuesday for Marketing Made Easy.